Is the spring real estate market in Fargo, North Dakota here? Every single year, without question, it gets super slow during the winter, then picks up a ton and gets super busy during the spring and summer months. In this video, I'm breaking down everything you need to know about the real estate market and the spring market here in Fargo, North Dakota for right now in 2025. I'll be going over stats, figures, and giving you advice and tips on how you can succeed whether you're buying or selling a home in this spring market here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now, by the way, I'm Sykora, your Redheaded real estate agent here in Fargo, North Dakota and Moorhead, Minnesota. Every single week, I have countless people reaching out to me because they want to move to, from, in, and around this dynamic region of the Fargo-Moorhead metro. If you or someone you know is interested in buying or selling a home sometime in the near future, you can schedule a call with me through the link in the description below, or you can reach out to my contact information on the screen now. Now let's jump right into this video of the spring real estate market and what you need to know about it here in Fargo, North Dakota. First, you just need to know how seasonal the market really is. I talked a little bit about it before, but the number of inventory, the number of people moving in the winter gets super low when it gets super quiet. And for good reason. I mean, who wants to be moving when it's -40 out, the wind chill is super low, it's snowing, there's a blizzard. No one wants to be moving in the winter. So then all those people, when it starts to warm up like it is right now in the spring here in Fargo, North Dakota, that brings people out. People are starting to move, they want to move, and then once school gets out here in May and in June, more and more people are going to be coming into the market. So that's what you need to know about this real estate market here in Fargo-Moorhead. Very seasonal. Then once we get to the spring and summer, there's a ton of activity, significantly more. 2 or 3 times more activity in the spring and summer here in Fargo, North Dakota than during the winter months like January, December, November. So that's what you need to know about this market here in Fargo, North Dakota. That is very seasonal. Now we're kind of at that middle point right now. Right now as this video is being filmed and it gets posted, it's going to be the end of March. We're right on that breaking point between kind of the quiet season of the winter and the early parts of the year. Then once we get into April, once the weather continues to start warming up and people are out and about, and then school gets out in May, that's when it's going to get really busy. So you need to know that about the market here in Fargo, North Dakota. And we're going to go over that a little bit later in this video where I break down all the stats so you know everything you need to know about the real estate market in Fargo and how you can succeed whether you're buying, selling, or both here in Fargo, North Dakota. Next, you just need to know, what am I seeing right now as a real estate agent? So of course, I'm seeing a lot more homes being posted on the market as of a couple weeks ago. Other than the last weekend where we had snow, we've kind of had a warm push come into the Fargo-Moorhead area. And with that, there's been a lot more buyers out and there's been a lot more sellers out. And personally, I've just seen a ton of more listings being popped up on the market. Of course, I've seen a lot more homes be put up for sale, a lot more people reaching out because they're interested in moving. And that's because of the weather and because the spring season is near here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now, it's not at the point yet where I think it's super busy. The stats will reflect that later, but we're getting there. And it's starting to really turn and get super busy here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now, the one area where there's a ton of activity is the first-time homebuyer price range. Now, maybe you saw my other market video where I broke down every segment of the market and what you need to know, but this is the price range where there's the most activity. Now, I'll give another example. The other week, I showed a house in this first-time homebuyer price range, which is kind of $350,000 and under, and that house had 8 offers after being on the market for less than 24 hours. Now, you can imagine how much action, stress, and the amount of buyers interested in this home just after being on the market for less than 24 hours when you had 8 offers. That's the thing with that segment of the market. There's a ton of action and there's a ton of buyers and there's a ton of competition, but there's not that much out there. So if you want to know how you can succeed as a buyer in that portion of the market or any other portion of this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market, make sure you stay tuned until the end of this video where I give my top tips for both buyers or sellers here in the spring real estate market of Fargo, North Dakota. So now we're going to jump right into the stats so you can kind of see the history of what the real estate market has done in the past springs and the past summers, and where we're at right now in the Fargo-Moorhead real estate market. So as you can see, this is the months of supply. So what this number means, if houses stopped coming on the market today, this is how long it would take for all those houses to sell. So as we can see right now in February, 2.5 months of inventory here in Fargo, North Dakota. Now, this number doesn't really tell the whole story a lot of the times because this does not take into account how many buyers are actually in the market and how many buyers are actually looking. Now, when this number is considered 6, it's considered a balanced market. but it's really hard to tell sometimes because the number of homes on the market may not be based on the number of buyers who are actually out in the market and looking. Now, I'll give you an example. We look back to the winter. This was still between 2 and 3 months of inventory, maybe a little bit over 3, so it's considered a seller's market, but there was no buyers in the market because it was a winter. So those homes were sitting on the market a little bit longer. Now you would think, just because it's considered a seller's market, that even though those houses would sell really, really quick, but that's just not the case. This number doesn't really tell the whole story, but it's also important to be able to look at what is out there and what is available. If the market is a buyer's or a seller's market depends very heavily on the number of buyers in the market actively looking and looking seriously. Now we have some more numbers that can show that later on if you stay tuned till later in this video. But I just want to say this number doesn't really signify the number of buyers or the number of sellers in the marketplace at one time. It just really shows inventory. Now this is the number of new listings here in Fargo, North Dakota. This has February's number. So the thing about these numbers is they might be a month off. The stats aren't gonna be in there yet because March isn't over. So this is what we need to look at. And the big thing about these graphs of what I'm gonna be showing you guys is what is the real estate market doing in years past? What can we look to happen in the next coming months when school does get out and there's gonna be a lot more people in the market? That is what I wanna show you with these graphs. So we can see the number of new listings in the month of February was 105 and it was actually down 12% from the month of January. Now we can look back at all these other graphs from the past years and we can look. It gets like a really high mountain, comes back down, really high mountain, comes back down, and it's done that every single year. Now one thing I want to note is we kind of have a little bit of a go up really high, a little drop, and then it goes up again. Now we can see that back in 2020, super, super high, little drop, goes up. Again in 21, high, drop, go super high up. Again, little bit of a plateau here, not really a drop. Then in 2023, you had that drop. Then 2024 was kind of more of a plateau, but then it shot up again. So we got to look at where is the real estate market at right now? We're at that little drop and it's going to shoot up again. So just like it was back in 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, it's going to drop and plateau a little bit, but then it's going to shoot up when all those buyers and all those sellers come into the market with school being out in the spring and summer months upon us. So that's what you need to know about new listings here in Fargo, North Dakota, that there's going to be a lot more and they're going to be coming soon. Now, where does this give you opportunity if you're looking to buy a home and you don't want to be in competing offers with 7 other people on the house you want? Where is the opportunity lie for you as a buyer? Now, make sure you stay tuned till the end of this video where I give you where all the opportunity is for you as a buyer. Now, if you're interested in buying or selling a home sometime this spring, summer, or 3 years down the road, you can reach out to me. I'm Sykora, a real estate agent here in Fargo-Moorhead. I help people in this dynamic region, being on the border between 2 states with a ton of different policies and a ton of different neighborhoods and everything you need to know. And you can schedule a call with me through the link in the description, or you can reach out to my contact information on the screen now. Now this next graph is an important one, which is the median days on market. So this is really important because it shows, again, how quickly are homes coming on the market and how quickly are someone buying that home. Now, if you think of the typical close time, usually from the time someone writes an offer on a home, it's going to be 40 to 30 days to close if they wrote an offer that day. So you can see this like right now, when it gets super low during the really busy months, that means people are getting offers on their home right as they're putting them on the market or very near that time, when it gets between 20 and 40 days on market. Like the month of February, 79 days on market. So that's going to take longer for those homes to sell, and buyers maybe have more opportunity to look, the buyers that are in the market, but houses that are going to sit on the market longer during the winter. And again, we can see that every single year with one major spike in the winter months, then coming way down during the summer and spring months. We can look back even to 2024, where we got super high last month in January, and then in December it was high. Now it's going down, and I bet you it's going to go down again just by seeing the number of activity and the things we have here in Fargo, North Dakota for the month of March. Because you got to remember, these graphs are a month behind because the stats only carry over once the month is over. So this number, I'm guaranteeing you, it's going to go way down here in the month of March. And it's going to stay low during the summer and the spring months. This is an important number to make sure you plan that out and you don't end up paying 2 mortgage payments at the same time, or you're paying rent and you're paying a mortgage payment. No one wants that, or you're even homeless. No one wants those situations to occur. So that's why this number is really important. And I have a lot of different situations on ways we can approach buying and selling a home at the same time. And if you're interested, feel free to reach out to me. Now, this is another number which we look at to kind of see the buyer demand. So if you remember back to the months of inventory where we said this was kind of the inventory, it didn't really show the buyer demand. This graph is what shows the buyer demand right here. This is the pending listings here in February for Fargo, North Dakota. We can see 122 pending listings. So you got to think of what a pending listing is compared to an active listing and a closed listing. So pending listings is when someone's put an offer in on a home, they're past inspection, and now they're pending. They're pretty much waiting for closing to happen, waiting for the appraisal, that sort of thing. So this is where people are actually putting in offers on homes and buying homes. And we can see it's up 30% from last month. And this is only the beginning. Of course, it got super low in the winter, but now it's going to get super high like it has in the past 3 years. So there's going to be a ton more pending listings. And what does that mean? There's more buyers in the market because there's more people putting in offers on homes and getting to that pending state of a listing before it actually closes. This is a really big number people need to look at to know how many buyers are actually in the market right now. Because pending listings is a big indicator of that. And we can see how many more buyers are in the market just from January to February, a 31% jump. And again, I bet this number is going to jump again as we go to March. You're going to see another video of my market update that I make on the Living in Fargo-Moorhead YouTube channel to give people information on what life is actually like here in Fargo-Moorhead. It's going to jump again. And I guarantee it because just what I've seen, there's more buyers in the market, more offers being put in on homes, and there's more inventory available in the market. So that's what you need to know about this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market in the spring. There is going to be more buyers in the spring and more competition for you as a buyer. Now again, make sure you stay tuned until the end of this video where I give you some tips and tricks on how you can succeed as a buyer or seller in this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market. Now this is also a really unique graph that I saw about home price appreciation index. So what this is just taking an average value based on home prices and how much it increases. Now we can see these 3 arrows here are all the month of March. Now we can see a trend here. We can see it's rolling hills a little bit. Of course, real estate always appreciates, so this graph is going up. But we can see a little dip every single year in the February to March sector. So we can see a little dip and then it goes and shoots up again. Kind of like rolling hills. So what does this actually tell me? This tells me we're right on the cliff between being a little bit busy with the spring market starting to pick up, and then all of a sudden one day, a ton of new listings coming on the market, a ton of new buyers in the market where the spring market takes full effect. So we're not there yet, but we're gonna be there soon, and it's just gonna happen like that, just one day, and then it's gonna be super busy. It's already busy, but it's gonna get busier. So that's what you need to know about this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market, is that the prices are gonna go up because there's more buyers looking, and if you have more offers on homes, and people wanna get into that home, they're gonna pay more, they're gonna pay over asking price, than compared to if there's no one else looking and they're the only offer on a home. So the prices are gonna go up here as we go forward to the spring and summer. But the other thing you need to know is that the inventory is going to go up too. Because a lot of people who are buying a house, they need to sell a house too. That's the important thing you need to know about the Fargo-Moorhead real estate market. You need to look at it with perspective. There's not someone winning 100% of the time. Like for example, if you were buying a home in the winter, yeah, you may be able to get a better deal on a home, or you may be able to wait a little bit longer and find your perfect home because no one else is looking in the winter and you might get a better deal. But there's not that many homes out there and available in the winter. Compared to the spring and summer, there's a ton of homes available, a ton of different inventory where you have more chances and maybe you find your perfect home, but you're going to be in competing offers with people. You're not going to be the only one interested in the home because they're in high demand. So it's a give and take every single time. There's never someone winning 100% of the time in the real estate market here in Fargo, North Dakota. It's a give and take. You're either going to be giving up low inventory for a better deal, or you're going to be giving up the fact that you may be competing with people to get into the same home because they're all looking at the same houses when Fargo does not have a ton of real estate inventory, as we saw from the months of inventory graph. It's 2.5 months of inventory when it should be 6 to be a balanced market. Now that doesn't show the buyer demand. There could be 12 months worth of buyer demand in the area, but only 2 months worth of inventory. So that's where a lot of competition comes in, and you need to know how to approach that as a buyer or seller. Now, thanks for staying tuned until the end of this video where I give some tips for both buyers and sellers and how you can succeed in this real estate market, whether you're buying a home, selling a home, or both. Now, the first tip I'm going to give is for buyers. So you need to be able to narrow down and know what you're looking for and to be ready to move quick. So again, like I said, the story I mentioned earlier, the house was on the market for less than 24 hours and it already had 7 offers on it. Now, I'm not saying every single house is going to be like that. That was just a really, really good house, and I think it was priced a little bit low, which brought a ton more demand. But that's what you need to know. You need to move quickly, because if you don't come and buy that house, someone else is going to walk through it and someone else is going to buy it. Now, you also got to know, what are your wants and needs? Sometimes when I give advice to my buyers as a real estate agent, I tell them to look at it this way. We want to look at the house with the 80-10-10 rule. Now, what this means is 80% the stuff you want and the stuff you need. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, over 2,000 square feet. 10% is stuff you can change. So, oh, I don't like these carpets. I can replace the carpets, or these walls. I want to repaint them. And then 10% is the stuff you can't change. So maybe this bedroom is a little bit smaller than we liked. We wish it was a double vanity, that sort of stuff you're going to have to deal with. So I always make sure I let my buyers know about this rule when they're looking at homes, the 80-10-10 rule. This can make sure when you find the right home, you know it. And you can make a move quick before someone else does. Now, to do this, you also want to get pre-approved early. Make sure you talk with a lender, get everything situated, and you know what you want and what you need. Now, another little tip is maybe if you can't find the right home or you've been in a lot of competing offer situations, think about new construction. Now, you got to think new construction, they have a ton of inventory available and there's not a ton of buyers for new construction. And you can also build your custom home where you're not competing with anybody at all and you can choose your own lot. Now, the time frame is a little bit longer for new construction, but there is also ones that are pre-built model homes that are ready to be sold right now. Now, the thing is with new construction too, a lot of builders are doing a promotion right now where you can get $20,000 to $30,000 either off the purchase price, closing costs, add stuff into the house, whatever it is, because there's not a ton of buyer demand in the new construction market. So if you want to take advantage of these buyer buy downs, buyer promotions for builders here in Fargo-Moorhead, make sure you reach out to me. I know all the different promotions for builders here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. You can reach me by giving me a call or shooting me a text or scheduling a call with me through the link in the description below, and I can get you some more information on that. Now, thanks for staying tuned to the whole end of this video where I give some tips to sellers in this Fargo-Moorhead real estate market. Now, you might think, okay, a ton of buyer demand, not much inventory available. I don't really need to do much to sell my home and to sell it for top dollar, but that's wrong. There's a couple things you need to make sure you need to do as a seller to position your home correctly. Because you got to think, what is the ideal situation for you? You ideally want multiple people interested in your home, multiple offers on your home, because then you as a seller get the best terms and price possible for your home. Now, how can you do this? The big thing, of course, everybody always talks about it, is because it's so big, is pricing. You do not want to overprice your home, even a competitive market. Because again, like I said, you want multiple offers on your home. So you want to place your home at market value. So you have people come in, they see the value and they get interested, and you want multiple people interested in your home. If you overprice your home, sits on the market a little bit, not too many people interested, you have low ball offers coming in, that's not ideal for you as a seller. You want as many people interested in your home as possible so you get the best deals, price, and terms possible for you as a seller. Another way to do this is to make sure your home gets the most exposure possible. You want to make sure your home is marketed correctly. So all over social media, having professional photography done, having an agent that posted on his YouTube channel that gets over 10,000 views every month. I don't know if you know anybody like that or not. So you want to make sure your video and your house gets the most exposure possible. So again, you get the best pricing and terms possible. Well, you got to be careful not to overprice your home in this market here in Fargo, North Dakota. I know this video was a little bit longer, a lot of information about what the spring market is like here in Fargo-Moorhead and where we're at right now with the real estate market in March of 2025. Now, if you have any more questions about making a move to, from, in, or around this Fargo-Moorhead region, reach out to me. I'm Sykora, your Redheaded real estate agent, and you can reach out to me by giving me a call, shooting me a text, or reaching out through the link in the description below.